Hi everyone, Tasha here for Kat Scrappiness, and today we're going to create a shaker card using items from the new Kat Scrappiness release. I'm going to be using the Santa's Helper stamp set, and this one's so cute with this little couple holding a banner, and then I'll be using the coordinating dies. In addition, I'm going to use a stitched hill, and this one's a slimline die, but you can use it for any size card, and it has really nice detail. I'll be using an A2 full front shaker card pocket, and this one is a heavy plastic, and it already has adhesive that you just pull off those strips. The mixes for the sequins I'm using is glitter sequin mix in red and all the trimming sequin mix. The paper is from the new Reindeer Games paper pad. And lastly, I'll be using the new Build-A-Bow die set, and this one is just great. So let's begin by stamping our little images. I'm going to use my Misty for this because I want to make sure I have a nice dark impression. And since there's two characters, I want to make sure I can re-ink if needed. So I'm going to stamp the images with black hybrid ink. And I did re-stamp just to make sure they were nice and dark. After I stamp them, you can see a close-up, I'm going to pick one of the included greetings in the stamp set to go in that center banner. I decided on Merry Christmas, and I'm stamping it with the same black ink. Again, using your Misty makes it really easy to re-stamp and make sure that you have a nice dark sentiment inside that banner. I'm going to use that coordinating die to cut out my little images before I color. This way I don't have to worry about if something went wrong with the cutting. I didn't spend time coloring these little characters up and then have to start over again. So I used a piece of purple tape just to kind of hold that die in place, and I'm just running it through my little cutter. This was super easy. You just have to run it through one time and this little image pops out easily. After I was done cutting out the characters, I'm going to use that stitched hill and cut out a little border for the bottom of my shaker card. This will make it look like they're standing on a snowy hill or some snow on the ground. So since this is for a slimline card or a project that's a little bit longer than what I'm making, I just pulled it down to the size that I want, and then I'm going to run it through. I also put some purple tape down just to hold it in place. And then once I have it cut out, you don't have to worry about cutting the whole thing because we're going to trim it down to size. So do you see how it didn't even go all the way across? It doesn't matter because this is going to be an A2 size card. Now for the paper. The new paper pad is so cute. It has so many fun designs and they're all double-sided so you can mix and match or pick the perfect one for your project. I'm going with this red snowflake background so it looks like, like a sky with falling snowflakes. And when you cut your paper, if you're using the shaker pack, you just want to cut it slightly smaller than the shaker plastic area. Once I was done cutting the paper, I'm going to go in and start coloring. I'm using Copic markers for my coloring, but you could use anything you want. And I'm just using some holiday colors. So I'm going to use green and red and then some gold and yellow tones for that banner area. This way it goes with the sequins that I'm going to use inside the shaker, and it just kind of makes it festive with the green and the red. So I'm going in and just doing some simple coloring. These little characters would also look cute if you wanted to color them with maybe blues and purples, or you could decorate their outfits like I'm doing here. I decided to add some polka dots to the girl's hat and her little shoes, and then just kind of add a little bit of a button detail to both of their outfits. I like doing this with gel pen. You can make all sorts of designs, stripes or hearts, and it just adds a little more interest and makes them more unique. So now, to attach your inside panel to this shaker pocket, you want to make sure that you have it lined up right. So what you're going to do is put your little sequins inside of that shaker pouch first, and you want to keep everything kind of in the center area so it doesn't stick to that adhesive, and you want to make sure that your paper goes on top of the sequins the side that you want to show. So make sure that you remember which side you want, and that's the side you're going to put against the sequins. So once I have my little shaker bits in place, I'm lining my paper up and I'm holding it down when I pull off that plastic and fold it over. So you just want to keep your hand there and kind of hold everything in place. This really helps. This way the sequins aren't moving around or coming out of one end. So you have everything just staying in that center area. And it'll be fine once you get everything closed up. They'll move around perfectly. So again, just holding everything in place and folding over the last panel. It's so easy to use these shaker pockets. And do you see, after you're done, they just move around freely and you have that pretty background and you don't have to worry about anything falling out. These are just fantastic. You don't have to play with foam tape, and I think this is just my new favorite way to make shaker cards. Next, I'm adding my snowy hill, and I decided to put this on top of the plastic. Again, you kind of can put it inside or outside, but I really like how it has this layered look, and then the snow is falling behind the hill. I'm using some glue runner to attach. I used it for attaching the hill, but I'm also using it to attach those little elves right to the center of that snow hill. And then they have their little greeting. And I'm just kind of making sure that nothing falls out. Everything is kind of sealed and in place. After I was done attaching my characters, I'm going in with some red, white, and green cardstock to again go with the Christmas theme and coordinate with their little outfits and the sequin mix. I'm using the same glue runner and attaching my layers. This would also be great if you wanted to add a layer of glitter cardstock or glitter paper in between some of these layers, just to bring in some more sparkle. But for this project, I'm just going with the traditional holiday colors. I did have some issues lining up that back panel since the layers are pretty thin, but I was able to fix it and have everything put together perfectly. Next, I'm using the same glue runner on that panel shaker pocket and just going to attach it right to the center of the card. You just want to press down firmly on the sides and it stays put. After I was done, when I was looking at my card, I decided we needed something on top. And Kat Scrappiness has this really cool Build-A-Bow die set that has bows in different sizes, and you can also layer them together. So what I did was I cut the largest bow in the set out of red cardstock. That actually is the same cardstock I used in one of the layers. I'm using liquid adhesive, and I'm going to glue the pieces together to form the bow. What I do is I pre-bend the two sides just so they curl over easily once I have the glue down, and then I attach glue to both ends. I just think it has a stronger bond for some reason. It may not, but that's just what I do. And then you just want to hold it in place for about 10 seconds to kind of make sure that glue dries and has a secure hold. Once it's done, you add glue to the back and then that bottom layer piece. And you do the same thing. You'll hold it down until it has a bond, and then you move on to the last step. And the last step is putting on this center piece. It's a little strip of paper, and it'll just kind of finish and give your bow a completed look. So then it looks like it was hand tied or, tied into a bow. But you could also add a little embellishment, would be super cute. Or you could add sequins, and you can kind of customize these bows as well. After the bow is all glued down and secure, it will look like this. Do you see how those edges poof up a little bit? So again, you can leave it as is, or you can add layers. And I'm going to attach it right to my card to kind of have it in place before I start adding extra embellishments. So I'm using the same glue runner to attach it directly onto the plastic. This really gives it a nice look on the top, and these bows are perfect for any type of project. So again, this was the largest bow in the set. I took one of the smaller bottoms of a bow and then cut it out of gold glitter to add that sparkle, and I'm just layering it on top of the bottom panel pieces. And this adds just a pretty sparkle, a little more color, and again it sticks with that Christmas color theme that we're going for. For the center, I cut a tiny little embellishment out of the same gold glitter, and then I layered on one of the snowflakes from the sequin mix, and then a little rhinestone to the center. This gives tons of detail to the bow. I just thought the plain bow is just a little too plain for this card, but you can add anything you want to embellish a little more. So here is my completed project. It's quick, it's easy, and all of your shaker bits stay put, so you don't have to worry about sequins going out of the little pockets when you're mailing. I hope you enjoyed today's project and will give it a try. All of the details are in the description box below. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.